welcome to another Leica review. Today we are going to be discussing a very special lens and camera combination. This is going to be Leica T along with a 24mm Summilux. Now the reason we are using this lens combination instead of, for example, Leica T with a dedicated 23mm Leica T lens is that it allows us to capture much more in terms of low light and the ability to render colors. Now, you will find that Leica lenses are of particular color rendition all across the range, whether you're using an Almerit or a Summilux or an Octilux. But what differentiates is the ability to use lenses which are in different lineup. For example, the Leica M series lens, which is a Summilux, on a Leica T body with an adapter. Now, this ability to be able to use different lenses gives us the choice of whether we will want to use a dedicated T lens or one on the M series. Now, the reason I've chosen this, and this is the reason why we're going to be discussing the combination, is because I wanted to cover a photojournalistic approach to photography. And the result of this lens and camera combination, which yields to about 36.5 to 37 in terms of full frame format, is an ideal focal length to do indoor photography as well as street photography. And the particular subject I have chosen was to demonstrate how you can use the camera as well as how Leica T can be used for photojournalistic purposes. Now, obviously, you carrying a camera in any space would indicate that you are photographing, and people will obviously be interested in why you are photographing. What is important as a photographer is to realize that whether you have a big camera or a small camera is to put the subject at ease. Now, this camera combination, which is small body, allows you to be almost unnoticed. Someone who's taking more of an amateurish approach to taking photographs while you're still capturing something amazing with the lens and camera combination. Now, if you are to look at the photographs that we have taken with this camera, you will see that the subjects were at ease. And the reason they were at ease is we explain basically why I was taking the photographs. And I explained to them that the images were beautiful. Now, one of the things that Leica T has is a screen on the back that is very, very wide compared to other cameras, which allows the person who has been photographed to view the images right after. And that makes them feel at ease. One of the first steps when I tell my students is to take the camera, show what you have captured, so that the person knows that you are not putting them in an awkward position. And more importantly, this camera lens combination is one that you can use in low light situations. And low light is a very, very difficult issue to deal with, especially when less than ideal lit circumstances are concerned. Now, the space that we have chosen had fluorescent lights, and this is one thing that I've discussed in the article that I wrote, and that is the fluorescent lights wreak havoc on the way the images and colors are rendered. And it's for that very reason one has to be very careful of setting the right Kelvin scale on the camera so that you get the correct rendition of colors. And more importantly, the lens has to be well enough and built superiorly to provide the right contrast and color rendition which Leica is known for. This is the reason I used a Summilux rather than using any other lens. And it was to demonstrate also that you can use a number of variety of lenses from the M lineup for the Leica T. Now, one thing you will notice with the photographs that we have taken is that the subjects that are in the frames had this feeling of motion, that it was a sweatshop that was being run by these individuals that were always on a move. And this is something that you have to convey with your own touch. What Leica T and this combination with the Summilux has allowed me to do was to capture that feeling as best as possible. And if you read the article, you will also find that there is ways and methods where you can combat the problems of fluorescent lighting and various other lighting that can ruin your pictures. Obviously, there are things that you can do post-production with the use of different softwares, but what about having a photograph that comes out of your camera as best as it could? One final note, which I would like to mention, is with this camera combination, you could do just about anything, whether you're doing nighttime photography or daytime photography. Whether you want to isolate the subject from the background by dialing the aperture to let's say 1.4, or you could go into a wide field of view. Let's say, for example, you're photographing a landscape, and you could go up to 5.6 or 8 and still get this beautiful imagery that comes with the use of 35 or 36 millimeter focal length on a full frame. Now, I must tell you that this Leica T is not a full frame. It's APS-C, which means that it's a crop frame. So whatever lens you're going to be putting on this is going to be enlarged to a certain number when you put it on. So I suggest you go out and try and pick a subject that you are feeling very passionate about, one that you feel that you can give your own interpretation and tell a story, and share it with us. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching.